Today I'm doing a walkthrough of the track Everything You See Is You from the album Nothing Left to Abandon. Originally I wrote this track for as a demo that I posted to touism.org. It's a website devoted to hauntology, Boards of Canada, music in that vein. I don't think I'd expected much posting it there, just more out of curiosity, I suppose, from people who understood the music. And I was pretty gratified to get so much positive feedback. And I think that was actually a big motivator as to why I pursued more tracks and thought, oh, maybe I'll put an EP together. And the EP picked up steam, and eventually I had more and more tracks, and it became an album. This was also the first track where I had used a lot more dialogue. And I think it set the stage for me for experimenting more with that idea. Exploring how to use found dialogue and cutting it up, reassembling it, what have you. And I think that, for me, was the first kind of proof of concept that you can have a music track that is dialogue heavy and yet still make it work. I think one of the other interesting things for me about this track was the structure, especially harmonically. Finding a midsection where I could get away from the tonic quite distantly, but then find my way back. And I think I enjoy that kind of challenge musically. It seemed to work here. I don't always do that, but I think it worked in this case. This is a walkthrough of the track Everything You See Is You from the album Nothing Left to Abandon. I've managed to mostly resurrect this with one key exception, which is the wonderful organ sound that I couldn't find. This is about as close as I could get to it. This is, I believe, the first track where I used extended dialogue. For me, it just added another element, another dimension. As per usual, I don't really remember where I found the audio, and I believe it was an interview with one of the Apollo astronauts.
Look at the heavens.
I believe something he'd written years later about his experience.
And realize that the molecules of my body and the molecules of my spacecraft have been manufactured.
Something I love doing with the audio to give it both dimension and width is using one of my favorite plugins called SoundHack.
It was a life-changing experience.
Developed by Tom Erb. I met him at CalArts years back, and he produced these kooky plugins.
A blissful feeling. I was able to look at the earth, the moon, and the sun.
I believe this one was called Phase Mash, and I don't know quite how it works, but I believe it
Look at the heavens.
randomizes the frequencies in a band or something along those lines. It sounds like it's introducing
And
noise,
realize that the molecules of my body
but it's widening and deepening the sound.
molecules of my spacecraft have been manufactured.
And obviously I've got some reverb and some delay in there.
Created in some ancient generation of stars.
The intro drone instrument, I believe, is sourced from an Australian instrument, this thing that you whirl around in the air on the end of a rope. I took that and slowed it way down, layered up a drone or two behind it. And then this entering pulse, I think, brings a sense of energy. Pretty simple, but it works lovely with the drone. The bass drum here I had great fun with because I remember trying to work out how to have some panning and delay in there without it becoming unbelievably muddy. The snare is interesting because I'm using, I believe, field drums, panned left and right. But just the perfect sound and context here. I think later it gets a bit more built up here. Yeah. So if you know field drums, these are the old English, probably European war drums carried by soldiers and the flag bearer. But in this context, it's just a wonderful organic sounding snare without taking over everything. And these very light hi-hats, and then there's really dirty hi-hats. I mean, these things are, I think, slowed. And I think that kind of layering gives you a lot of options. You can take things out and add things in to keep the energy level going. And here we're breaking down a little. What section is this? Yeah. I think one of my favorite instruments in here is the Farfisa organ. This thing, it's just so wonderfully buzzy. I think it's originally an Italian organ, old electric organ. But mixing that with the pipe organ variant, they just seem to play really well together. The main organ sound I believe was the diapasons setting. Hope I'm saying that right. I don't know my organ lingo. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember this was using some panning, a granulation plug-in, reverb obviously. And I believe I had down-pitched it somewhat. It gives it a more sort of magisterial feel. I don't know what the original organ was that I used. I'm sorry to have lost it. That's, I think, inevitable with this kind of music. You know, you move on, you upgrade your software, other things stop being compatible, what have you. So You do what you can. I should have committed these all to stems. Oh well. The chorus instruments, I was doing a lot of leads, I think, during this period. Having a lot of fun with those. And I think I had mixed my breath in. To give it more of a breathy feel. Sometimes I feel like synth leads can be a little dry. And I think I doubled up a couple of breath takes, panned them left, right, and then mixed the whole thing together. That's a different one. I think we go back to that here. I think that just brings a bit more feeling and kind of organic realism to it. The mid section gets called out a lot. I think I was working at trying to find a chorus that would step quite distantly away from the tonic. Here I'm sort of setting it up. So this lead is just wonderful. Again, it's the Tal noisemaker instrument with some careful compression and a few other tricks. A lovely run up into that section. There's a few things going on here.
Oxygen.
This is early TTS voice,
Neon.
text-to-speech.
Magnesium.
This is well before AI.
Silicon. Iron. Hydrogen. Sulfur. Nitrogen.
I think I also ran this voice through a Logic plugin for vocal pitch adjustment, so it has a curious kind of envelope to it.
It was a visceral noise.
Let me see if I can find that section again.
Greater than matter.
Helium. Carbon.
It almost sounds plaintive.
Oxygen. Neon. Magnesium.
Here in that same section are these guys. Forget what plugin this was, something thick. That's the Locomotive plugin. One of the developers of that instrument told me shortly after this, when I had been itemizing the instruments I'd used on the track, that he had developed this with a friend, I think, for a 48-hour plugin fest. Impressive, because I have used this plugin now for years. It's just got a very unique sound. You can do a few things with it. A little buggy, but super nice. I think I still have the first version. Sometimes I don't update my plugins. I'm not sure why. I think I'm afraid that they're going to put something in there or remove some functionality that I actually use or that I like. And so I'm wary of updating things unnecessarily. I mean, if it works, don't break it. And then something else in that section is this TV broadcast. Now, as I understand it, this was an example of TV piracy where some guys got into a studio or somehow managed to take over the airwaves briefly and played back something during a football game or something like that. And it's just such a random found sound that I had to include it, and it just, I guess, fills in its own little slot in this section. There's this little flute that I found, I think, on freesound.org. A double flute, in fact, yeah. Which, again, just fills out the space nicely. It's funny when you find these things, you're not sure how you're going to use them, but sometimes I'll just keep folders of these things and I'll be at a point in a track and I'll just come across a place that needs something, and invariably I'll land on one quite by chance and it'll fit. I'll have to do minimal editing on it. So I think the brain just sort of registers certain things at their tempo or their pitch and their usefulness as an element. And there was one other thing here. I was going to look at the sine keys, and I'm not sure what these are. Oh, yeah. These added depth and space. I think without that, it would have been a lot drier and maybe a little flatter in terms of its depth. But with these, it just kind of sings. And then, of course, the bass on this track, which I just loved. I just loved writing this. It might just be the stock Logic bass. Some other odds and ends to fill out the space. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. This track, I posted this one to the tourism.org forum. It was just such an interesting little group there. People coming in and sharing tracks and giving each other feedback. And I remember it was just after having done quote-unquote serious music and then production music for a fair bit, having the opportunity just to show off, I think, what my first love always was. Even all through college was this kind of music, and I think it just it gave me a creative outlet, and the feedback I got sort of sent me on my way, and a couple of tracks became an EP, and the EP became a full album, and then the album became a double vinyl album. I was just really having a ball. See you next time.